Well, in business, the U.S. is asking China to stop Iran from closing the Strait of Hormuz. Now, this comes after U.S.'s attack on Iran's nuclear sites. Global oil prices of sources, the U.S. attacked Iran's nuclear sites, but that's not just the case now, because it began when the conflict soared between Israel and Iran some over 10 days ago. We have been joined by technical advisor at the Energy Ministry, Dr. Yussif Sulemana, to assess the impact when it comes to the soaring energy prices, as well as what we have to do locally to mitigate its impact. Dr. Yussif Sulemana, many thanks for your time this afternoon. What we are seeing, and even the U.S. asking China to step in to look at this critical supply chain when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. For those who do not understand what is actually going on, simplify it for us.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon to you and your cherished listeners and viewers in Ghana and across the globe. Yeah, indeed, people are worried now, not because of anything, but those who have a bit of understanding of the situations or the calculus of this particular war in play. If you understand it, then you cannot sit very well than to always entertain a bit of fear. What is the case here? If you look at Russia-Ukraine war, there's a fundamental difference between that and this one. And the reason being that though Iran is not that a big producer, it's not that a big exporter to the market because of sanctions. Of course, but Iran is a force to reckon with if you come to Middle East, in the sense that Iran produced closer to 2 to 3 million, so that will be knocked off. But that's not a bigger picture. That can always be make up. The bigger picture here is the fact that Iran controls a particular choke point, what we call the Strait of Hormuz. Not that they control, but they have oversight responsibility in terms of whatever flow that can pass through it. And if I may give you a background of Strait of Hormuz, it's a critical choke point within the global space where about let's say 1/5 of global oil supply passes through that conduit. We are talking about 20%. We are talking about 20%, about 2 million barrels of hydrocarbon product passes through that. And so, if even there should be in terms of hitches, in terms of supply chain.
We seem to have
disruptions of hydrocarbon flow through. So we are sensing in a way that probably if Iran they're going to close it, then it's going to be a bigger problem for us. But hopefully, we are hoping that cool heads will prevail so that it will not escalate to that stage. But until that, I think we need to stay cautious and put in measures to be able to offset this particular unfolding events, especially when they do unfold. Yeah.
Now, looking at measures, the government had to halt the implementation of the levy, the 1% that we're going to see on some, the 1 cedi that was going to be paid per liter of some petroleum products. What other measures can be explored now to minimize the potential impact on the consumer and even on our usage of oil in the country?
Yeah, so that's it. If you notice, you are right on, and that was a proactive move, and that was also a positive one to be able to hold that up. What we do work on is what was going to be unfolding. See, we have a holistic industry where we have the upstream and downstream, and also the power. What we've noticed is that over the years we have operated these sectors like segregated entities in a way. So going forward, we need to have a holistic strategy that we're working on where we can begin to cascade benefits from areas within the power sector. So if you look at the power sector holistically, let's say upstream, like if oil prices are going up and you have some benefit from the upstream, we should have a workable formula that can use to cushion down the pumps. And of course, the pumps are going to hit hard. And remember, if the pumps are very high, that has cascading impact on inflation. That's not the end of the story. Also, like I mentioned, the energy sector is holistic. So we have to look at the power sector and even also the petroleum sector. Over the years, we haven't been able to link up these two sectors holistically. And then that's what we're working on to make sure that if there are windfalls within the petroleum sector, or the power sector or whatever, or the vice versa, we can use one sector to offset the other. And if you look at the 1 cedi that was coming, there was a windfall within the petroleum sector until this war, this particular disturbances took hold of the market. We had a windfall where we have prices dropped to 11. So that was a windfall in a way that we could take part of it to be able to cushion, the power sector where we are coughing a huge amount of money to be able to import liquid-based fuel. But that was a stopgap measure, a temporary measure to be able to solve that. But looking into the future, I think there is light at the end of the tunnel. If you look at the project of the big push project where we're going to invest holistically into infrastructure, including energy infrastructure, I think these are the strategies that we can use to offset most of these events when they hit. For instance, BOS will have to be in a strategic position to have a reserve enough to be able to cushion the nation when these things happen. And that all comes down to strategic investment. So if you have investment hugely concentrated within the sectors of the energy, the refinery, storage capability, these are the areas where we can use to offset most of these things when they do hit. It's not that we're not going to be impacted, but I think the impact will be to the barest minimum possible. And if you also notice, government has adopted a strategy whereby the almost 100% of the ABFA, something that we used to distribute to smaller areas, we want to champion all that into infrastructure, and that speaks volumes. Meaning that we'll have enough, we'll have a concerted effort to be able to invest within the infrastructure base. And when we do that, what will happen is that you are going to build a shield. You are going to build a cushion. When this international dynamics affect you, you'll be in a better position to be able to withstand them. Not totally, but at least the impact within the populace is going to be reduced to the barest minimum possible.
Okay, now quickly before I let you go, the second gas processing plant, you're part of the implementation committee. You were given a timeline to come out with a plan. Do we have any updates on that yet?
So fortunately, I think that that is done. Hopefully, in the course of this days, hopefully within a day or two, that report should have been submitted. And the critical nature of this technical is the fact that if you notice, like what is happening now, Ghana Gas came to the scene almost a decade ago, and we did not make any concerted effort to be able to bring another gas plant. So if you manage to be able to bring the GPP to Upstream, which this current administration can take credit for, in a way that they've been able to do GPP1, so there's every possibility that we're going to be able to do GPP2. And if that do happen, what that will mean is that it's going to do two things. One, it will increase. It will win us off from spending so much money on liquid-based fuel. That's number one. Number two, most of these our reserves, especially the tallow fields and stuff like that, if you're not able to obstruct, to displace the gas, it actually affects the oil production. So we can kill two birds with one stone. If it displaces the gas, having a GPP2 or another gas processing plant, first we can optimize our oil production in a way, because in that case we would have been able to displace the gas, which will give way for more oil to come. And secondly, to have been able to build up our oil, our power pool in terms of our power production. So yes, and that's the aspect that we're talking about, gas to power, where we're going to be able to link up the power sector to the petroleum sector, or the petroleum sector to the power sector, where probably the gas from the petroleum sector, we can feed it to the power sector. And if you do that and do that seamlessly, which we are working on, I think we're going to have a full firm control of our energy security, both in the power sector and then the petroleum sector.
Dr. Yussif Sulemana, thank you so much for speaking with us. He's a technical advisor at the Energy Ministry. Away from that, exhibitors at the 2025 edition of the